I find the Align panel immensely useful in InDesign and usually dock it over to the right. I'm going to switch to my typography workspace, and to bring up the Align panel, I'll choose Window, Object and Layout, Align. Now both Align and Pathfinder will come up together, and I'll drag them down here to the right so it's permanently docked with my other panels. I'll click Align to open it, and I'm going to start by just marquee selecting the gray backgrounds and the images that you see. This border is on a locked layer, so I won't accidentally move it or touch it. With these images, I'm going to click once on Align Top Edges, and now all the top edges perfectly line up. I'll select them in small stages, and then I could center. So now these two are centered. So with each one, I'm marquee selecting or just touching a piece of the image and a piece of the gray background and centering it. Once I get those centered, I'm going to group the image with the background so they're treated as one piece. Choosing Object Group for each, since they're all locked into position. Now, once they're grouped, I can select the caption that goes along with it, and I can choose to horizontally center and vertically center. And I'll group each one of them as soon as I finish that. Horizontal center, vertical center. And it's starting to come into place. Object, Group. You can also use Control-G or Command-G. Now, once they're all grouped, you could set spacing for them. If I wanted to move this to the left margin edge and this to the right margin edge, you'll see the Smart Guide show me a green line when each one hits the margin. Now I can select straight across since they're all grouped, and I can choose to distribute the horizontal centers. Now here's one that I forgot to group, so I'll undo that and make sure that these pieces are grouped. Then again, I'll marquee select and choose Distribute Horizontal Centers. And now I get even space between each of them. But maybe I want to do a mathematic amount of space between them. I could use the Distribute Spacing feature. If I check Use Spacing, I could type in 0.1 for 1/10 of an inch and hit the Distribute Horizontal Space, and each one of them gets 1/10 of an inch between them. Or for a little bit more, 0.25, and then hit Distribute Horizontal Space, and they now all get 1/4 of an inch between each. But I want them centered to the entire page, so I will group them all as one unit. So if I click away and click back on them, now they're all one piece. Then where it says Align To, I can choose Align to Page. And when I choose Align to Page and hit Align Horizontal Center, it's perfectly centered on the page. But if I hit Align Vertical Centers, it might be a little high for this layout. So I can also align to the margins. This top margin is 2 inches, so I want to center from here to here. So now if I hit Align Vertical Centers, they're centered to the margins. I'm going to click on this blue circle and hit Command plus or Control plus to zoom in exactly there. And I'll show you a few more alignment features. If I marquee select all of these, I can perfectly center them by choosing Align Vertical Centers. But since I left Align to Margins on, they got centered to the margins on the page. I hit Command minus or Control minus to see that. I'll undo that and choose Align to Selection and zoom back in with Command plus or Control plus. And now when I hit Align Vertical Centers, they all align to one another. But I would like them to align to where this blue circle was originally. So I'll undo that. If I click this blue circle, InDesign CS6 added the ability to align to a key object. So when I click this blue circle and then hit Align Vertical Centers, they all align to that position. And if I want them all to exactly touch, I can set the use spacing to 0 and then hit distribute horizontal space, and they get 0 inches between them, meaning each one touches. If I wanted some overlap, I can even set the use spacing to a negative value, let's say minus 0.1, minus 1/10 of an inch, and distribute horizontal space, and now they get a little overlap on each. So I did a horizontal layout. Now I'm going to do the same thing again with a vertical layout. But for the key object, I'm going to click the pink circle at the bottom. Then I'll hit Align Horizontal Centers, leaving them horizontally centered, but the object going vertically up and down. And then I'll also hit the Distribute Vertical Space, so they all moved 1/10 of an inch over top of one another to that object. And to finish this off, you could see things like Align Horizontal Center and Vertical Center, so you get a bullseye image where they all overlap one another. I'll undo that, but there's a lot of useful alignment features that you can use, and I suggest you explore these. I most frequently use the top row to align objects and the bottom 2 buttons with use spacing to set an exact position between them. In fact, I love this for distributing a caption, always the same amount, above or below a photo. So when I fit the page in window, here is my finished result, and you could see how I used alignment, grouping, and key objects, 2 margins or 2 page, all on this layout.